good, y'all? I'm reacting to another video about credit because this is a finance channel, and I want to make sure you guys are aware of the problems and why credit is terrible, why debt is terrible.
Financial life.
It's like your passport into everything that you need to do as an adult.
And it affects so many things, not just access to credit. So your ability to get a credit card, a mortgage, a reasonable car loan. Landlords use credit reports and credit scores. So it'll affect your ability to get an apartment. Insurance companies use them.
Having a low or no credit score can have severe financial consequences. 42% of Americans said that their credit scores prevented them from accessing financial products, like credit cards or loans.
Life can become more expensive.
Now, credit cards ain't nobody gonna say no to if the credit card is low for a apartment. As long as you make a certain amount of money a month, you could always get a apartment. You probably not gonna get a high expensive apartment or in a very luxury area. You can if you make enough money, unless you're a felon. But why would somebody keep giving you money and you can't pay it back? You have a record of not paying it back. So why would they loan you 10,000, 8,000, 5,000? You cannot pay it back, or you take forever to pay it back, and then people get mad for not being able to being able to get the card or get the debt. You gotta be more responsible. Nobody should even have credit cards. If you can't afford it, you shouldn't be buying it anyway.
And more difficult as your credit score falls.
But some credit experts argue that the current credit reporting and scoring systems have major issues.
The current credit scoring system, as it stands, is flawed.
And this error of being fundamentally misaligned has huge ramifications across the system for millions of Americans.
Others say many of these criticisms are misguided.
The reality is that the credit reporting system that we have here in the United States is sort of like the crown jewel of the world.
A lot of the criticisms are based on some fundamental misunderstanding of how credit scores are calculated and how they're used.
If you take a moment to not be knee-jerk angry about financial service for a minute, then I think a reasonable person would have to conclude that these are actually good for consumers relative to a world without credit scores and what that would mean to our bottom lines.
So how do credit scores work in America? And do they help or hurt consumers?
It's already a study on this. I'm not gonna play too much of this. Maybe I'll play a little bit more. But yeah, that alone affects affects the country in a negative way. It's not good for the country. It's not good for people, and you should not be getting that. Now these guys make billions and millions charging interest, and even the Bible say not to get credit, not to get that. But people are followers, and that's why people that are financially successful is only 1% of the population. Because anybody could get a Roth IRA and have 2 million in 30, 40 years. Anybody could invest in two companies that don't have any competitors and have a good chance of lasting very long and have a good return on their money in the long run. Anybody can do that. So the fact that people just they purposely make themselves struggle for a temporary satisfaction because maybe they don't have enough money at the moment and they can't wait for their check, so they want to get a personal credit card loan. Cool. It's not like people are getting loans because they gotta get a surgery that they can't afford. It's not like they're getting loans for that. They're getting loans just so they can buy bullshit. Like I see girls get loans just because they're on unemployment and they need money for a certain amount of time. So you're on unemployment and you don't have any amount of money. So your decision is to get loan, get debt.
A credit score usually refers to a number between 300 and 850, which represents the holder's financial stability and credit worthiness. The higher the number, the better a consumer looks to potential lenders.
Credit scores in the 500s are considered to be very bad. Credit scores in the 600s, we're starting to use terms like subprime, near prime, getting close to average, but you really need to get yourself into the 700s before you actually hit the national average, which is between 710 and 720, and then start working your way into the elite level scores, which are well into the 700s and certainly into the 800s.
Credit scores and reports are two separate things. Reports refer to statements containing information about your credit situation, while scores are calculated based on that information from the report.
Okay, I'm not gonna play too much. I don't want to get copyrighted, but as you can tell, like me, I look at people I look at people on the Forbes 500. So you don't gotta listen to me. You can think I'm crazy. You can think I'm stupid. Cool. You got your outcome from how you live. I get my outcome from how I live. I look at people on the Forbes 500, Forbes 50. I look at billionaires and people that's worth multiple hundreds of millions. None of them have debt. So y'all can look at me and think I'm crazy, but I know who I follow. You follow YouTubers, probably just you follow the crowd, and you guys are blindly falling off a cliff.